we're going to go ahead and start recording. That way people who weren't able to hop on live, they can watch this later. But how does everyone do with meal planning so far? Is it something that you struggle with? Is it something that you do a pretty good job at? Particularly some of like the newer folks on the call. And I might like call people out. Don't think that's me calling you out. It's just me trying to talk. So, Kara, how do you do with meal planning? Is it something that you struggle with? Is it something that you feel pretty confident about? I think Kara's having some difficulty. She's on too. Kara, can you hear me? Okay. April, how do you do with meal planning? Is it something that you really struggle with? I know that
Definitely.
I struggle
Definitely.
with. Okay. So I know in the beginning for me, like I would just stress myself out. Like it was too overwhelming for me to sit down and try to figure out like a week's worth of meals. And I don't even have kids. So I know a lot of my challengers who like have kids, they're like, I don't know how to make 2 meals. I don't know how to sit down. Like I don't even know what I'm going to be doing tomorrow. How am I supposed to plan my meals for tomorrow? And I totally get that. So we're going to kind of try to I'll show you what I do because my schedule is very, very all over the place too. I kind of never know what I'm going to be doing when. But I first want to show you online how you figure out your meal plan, how many containers you're supposed to have. And this might be something that everybody already knows, but there's going to be folks watching the call later who are totally brand new, and I want them to be able to. So I'm going to share my screen with you. Can you see my computer screen? Okay, good. So this is Beachbody On Demand. And I'm going to scroll down to the 21-day fix because that's what we're all following meal plan wise is the portion fix. So obviously you can see here all of the workouts. And then if you click on program materials, then you can pull up the meal plan. I could have already had this pulled up, but I wanted to show you where to find it. So here's, if you didn't know, here's how you find your calorie bracket. So it's your weight times 11, and that gives you your caloric baseline. And then caloric baseline plus 400 is your maintenance calories. And this gives you, once you finish the mathematical formulation here, it gives you your calorie target. And then once you know your calorie target, you're able to see how many containers you need of each. I personally fall in meal plan B, so that's what I am, and that's what I'm going to kind of be like building a plan around today. If you want me to build a plan around a plan C or a plan D or a plan A instead, I can totally do that. But that's how you do that. And I know some folks tell me, well, it's so hard to count my containers and count my calories. And I just want to make it really clear, you don't have to be counting calories. That's the opposite of what we're doing. It just gives you something to, it's more of just how you find your container bracket. But the thing about counting calories, and maybe some of you guys have tried counting calories before you started doing Beachbody programs, was like when I counted calories, I didn't understand, or I did understand, but I didn't necessarily care. I would like save all my calories so that I could have like pizza at night. And if you're having pizza every night, you're not getting healthier. You're not going to be feeling better the way you feel better when you're eating clean. So that kind of just, it really defeats the purpose. For me, it's very hard to count calories. It's very overwhelming. And the idea with the 21-day fix is not that for the rest of your life you're measuring your food in color-coded bowls. It's so that you learn portion control and you learn how to So I did just want to do that. But now I'm going to unshare my screen and let's chat a little bit about like some of your favorite foods. Like, what are some staples at your house? I know for me it's like chicken. My family eats a lot of chicken.
Oh, yeah. Sorry, I was running a little bit behind this morning. Tell them I will be there in 2 short seconds.
Sorry, guys. Like Rachel? What do you eat a lot of? My family eats a lot of chicken, so you will see chicken in like every single one of my meal plans.
Yeah, I at least eat chicken. So how I do it, since I mean you only have to cook for 2 people too, but it's I usually cook 2 big meals on Sundays, and then like we'll make like a vegetable with it that night that we eat it. And usually Kyle gets really sick of chicken. So I make like a chicken or a steak or like that kind of meal. So that's kind of how I do it. But I've been making a lot of vegetarian stuff recently because, like I said, he's tired of chicken and I'm out of options. So, but that's how my meal planning goes because it is hard cooking for only 2 people. And it's also hard, like you said, cooking for kids because they don't eat elaborate things usually.
Yeah, that's exactly what I do. Every Sunday we try not to have plans. I mean, if stuff comes up, stuff comes up. It's not like I am a slave to my meal prepping day, but it normally is on Sunday, and that's what we do. I cook one meal that we're gonna eat that night, and we're gonna have tons of leftovers, and then I'll cook another meat. And I know it sounds like maybe it takes a lot of time, but a lot of folks, cook dinner, on Sunday nights anyway. It's kind of like the get ready for the new week, have a low key night at home. And honestly, like if you're gonna cooking 2 meals doesn't, at least for me, now that I have gotten into like the rhythm of doing it, it doesn't take me that much more time. But then, especially the meats, like I will use that for my lunches, especially. I definitely always prep my lunches and get my snacks ready. Sometimes I don't prep my dinners for the entire week just because I don't necessarily know what's going to be going on. But one thing I do want you guys to make sure of is that you always, at all times, have one extra meal. Because there are times when I'll be working all day and then I don't know, something will come up in the afternoon, early evening, and then I get home and it's 7:30 and I am starving, or I'm not even home yet. I'm on the way home and I'm starving and I'm like, oh my God, I have nothing that at the house that's going to be ready for me to eat in time. So maybe I'll just stop through the drive-through. And for me personally, if I cave to fast food once, it is so easy for me to do it the next day and the next day and the next day and just get down that path. So that's why I say to always have like one meal completely prepped in your refrigerator, because then in the back of your mind that you have, chicken and sweet potato and green beans, whatever it is. They're waiting for you. And for me personally, I'm really cheap. You guys will get to know that. I'm not, if I have a meal like ready in my fridge that I would maybe be on the verge of having to throw away in a couple of days, I'm not going to spend the money going to McDonald's. So just having that, I don't know, it just really helps me. So that's something that I recommend. But we are going to go through and kind of do a couple of dinners in here, and I'll show you like how I do it quickly. But another thing, you don't need to feel like you have to do it all at once. If you need to start by planning one day in advance, that's totally cool. If you can do 2 or 3 days in advance, that's cool. But I think if it overwhelms you, like it did me in the beginning, don't try to do a whole week just because you'll get annoyed and you're going to think this is too hard, and it's really not. It makes it easier for me during the week. My husband and I don't have to have that argument anymore of like, oh, what are we having for dinner? And I get annoyed because he always makes me choose. Like, we don't have that argument anymore. So, yeah, for sure.
Another thing that, so Kyle, he sounds really picky, but he's really not. But he sometimes gets sick of, like, if I make the same meal and we eat it all the whole week, like that can get annoying and you don't want to eat it and you want to go for fast food. Sometimes on Sundays, instead of making a whole meal, I'll make like the protein, I'll cook up the protein and then I'll figure out that night how to incorporate it into like wraps or into a salad or into another whole meal and just add veggies to and make it like a saute dish thing. So you don't have to make the whole meal. You can just make the protein, or you can just eat the protein that night with the veggie. So it's like you don't have to be committed to eating a whole meal, that same meal, the rest of the week, because I know sometimes people get bored of doing that. I don't know.
Yeah.
Some people aren't as simple, but I get bored.
No, that's such a good idea. And I mean, you can even cook up chicken. Like, think of all the different things you can do with chicken. And that's what, because I don't eat beef. It's not a health reason or anything. It's just I don't like it. So my husband gets incredibly tired, and he doesn't eat like fish or anything. So it's a lot of chicken around here. But I've learned to, like, I can do Italian dishes. Like, sometimes we'll do like a healthy chicken parmesan. Or, I mean, there's just 5,000 things you can do with chicken, but I think that's a really good point, Rachel. Like, you can cook it all up the night, on a Sunday, and then do different things with it all week long. What about snacks? I know in the beginning I did not like portion out my snacks into little baggies. Now I do, because it's so much easier to grab and go. And like, if I have a little bag with the right amount of carrots in it, it's just kind of easier, especially with fruit, because I will sit there like with one of those big like tubs of blueberries, and I will like house that whole thing. So if I put them in little baggies, I'm a lot less likely to do that. Do you like portion out your snacks and all that stuff?
Oh yeah, like I've even told you it's really hard for me to get snacks in during my workday because it's like back-to-back patients all day, and I really only get like a half an hour break at lunchtime. So if I have like the right portion amount of almonds and the right portion amount of like celery or whatever, usually it's things that I don't have to refrigerate because I can just set them on my desk and just grab them as I have like 2 seconds in between patients. So yeah, I definitely have to portion them out and figure out how much I need beforehand, because I will either eat too little or none at all, or too much if I am just sitting around, which, so.
Right. That's me. Okay, I'm going to share my screen with you guys again, and we're going to kind of create a meal plan. And I'm going to just kind of type and talk and show you what I personally do. So I have 2 guaranteed meals that I know what they're going to be every single day, and that is my breakfast and then my shake. I am an extreme creature of habit, and I know that a lot of people have their shake for breakfast, but I'm one of those people who, like, before my feet hit the floor, I'm hungry and I'm thinking about eggs and avocado and in my coffee. So every morning, that's what I have. And just a little trick, I mix in my spinach into my eggs because it's one easy way. A container that I struggle with the most is vegetables, and it's not that I don't like vegetables. I do. It's just I don't know. Sometimes at the end of the day, I'm like, man, I don't think I ate enough vegetables. Even though I like them, I struggle getting them in. So by having one right off the bat for breakfast, then I know I'm good. So we're gonna have egg whites and spinach for breakfast. And one thing that I do, this isn't something that you do, but I'm a little like OCD with organization. I type my stuff out normally. Sometimes I write it. Don't think you have to type it out. If you hate computers and doing this like stresses you, write it down, scribble it on a napkin. I don't care. Whatever makes sense for you. But one, if I'm scribbling it on a napkin, you're not gonna be able to see me doing it right now. So I'm doing it here. But so that's what I do. And you might laugh at me, But guess what I do for breakfast? I do the same thing all week long. And I know to some people that's ridiculous and that like you're gonna get so tired of that. But that's been my life for like 4 years. I have egg whites and spinach for breakfast. And sometimes I'll add things like fruit here at the end, but I kind of add what I know I'm gonna have first. And then I fill in the rest. So then I'm also going to have my shake somewhere in here. And for me, it depends. Sometimes I really like my shake the next thing in the morning, like around 10:30 for my snack. A lot of times while I'm working, that's what I do. Just because for some reason I get, hungry again, and that's what I'm craving. On nights like tonight, my husband and I don't have any plans. We're going to have like a movie night at home. I'm probably, if I know like on a Friday or Saturday night, I'm going to be home with a movie night and he's going to be like, oh, I want something sweet. I'm going to plan my shake for then, because otherwise I might be tempted by going to get ice cream or some kind of something. But if I know I'm having my shake on Saturday night, then I am good. When do you guys normally have your shake? Somebody tell me.
I always have mine first thing in the morning.
First thing in the morning? Okay, cool.
Yeah. Me too.
After my workout, usually.
Kara, is that what you do?
I usually have mine at night because I was in the habit of having ice cream every single night. So I just make my Shakeology at night and have that instead of ice cream.
That's perfect. That's what I do too. That's what my dad does. My dad used to literally eat ice cream every single night. And I'm telling you, I'm getting a little off track, but I have ADD, so just get used to it. My dad used to have ice cream every single night. All he switched about his nutrition was that, having a shake instead of ice cream. And he's dropped like 40 pounds. Once he started losing weight, now he is 56. He tried salad for the first time ever last week.
Oh my gosh.
For the first time ever. So I just have to brag about that. But anyways, yeah, whenever it works for you. If you're like an ice cream junkie, have it at night. That's totally cool. So I'm going to put that in. I think every other day next week, I'm going to have mine right here. And does anyone like mix anything in with their shake, like a fruit, or anything like that?
I put banana in mine.
So do I.
I like banana and peanut butter in my vanilla.
Oh yeah.
Same.
Oh, that sounds good.
Banana and peanut butter.
It's like Reese's Cups for me, and that's my little downfall.
Right. Okay, so that's what I do. So I freeze my bananas. If you've never done that, I would try it because they're so good.
Just makes it 10 times better.
Just while I'm like doing this, I know that I think one of these calls we're gonna do something about like saving money on groceries, but the other day I got like 5 bushels of bananas. They were like 29 cents a pound, which is crazy cheap. Like bananas are already pretty cheap for a fruit, but that's crazy cheap. So I now have like 56 servings of bananas in my freezer. But do stuff like that. If you guys are, money conscious, which I think most of us are, who isn't, do stuff like that. If you find a really good deal on stuff that you freeze anyway, that's one way that I really save money. So then what I typically do is fill in my dinners if I can, and I'll go to Pinterest and find like a ton of recipes. There's also recipes on demand. There's a cooking show on demand, if you didn't know that. Like there are just a ton of tools on there that you can use. But to be honest, I use Pinterest a lot. So I have a couple of meals here that I want to make this week pulled up on my phone. So I'm just going to kind of put those in. And we're not going to do a whole week's worth of meal plans. I'm just kind of showing you the gist of what I do. So this is one that I've actually made before. You use these like whole grain Rice Krispies to coat your chicken and like some cayenne pepper. It is really, really good. So the yellow counts as a carb. Whoops. And then obviously you have your chicken. Okay, and then here's what I really wanted to show you guys. Then I will do this for lunch. Like I'll have the same chicken for lunch the very next day with if I want a different vegetable. Maybe I'll do it in the form of a salad, or maybe I'll add a different vegetable. So sometimes if I don't know what I'm gonna want, then I will put, like, I'll just put the word vegetable so that I know to have some vegetable. But I think some people get so stressed about, like, okay, if I say that this is what's on my meal plan, I have to, they're scared to commit to, like, okay, what if I don't want green beans on Saturday night? And I'm like, okay, you're kind of missing the point. If you don't have green beans, that's okay. It's just so that you know, okay, I'm having this and a vegetable. So does that make sense? Does that kind of help? And then you're not going to believe it, but I also kind of have the same thing for a snack every day. I normally work out in between here and here, like kind of right before dinner. So right before your workouts is a really good time to get your carbs in, because your body has more trouble breaking down carbs than anything else. So if you have them right before a workout, that's like the most optimal time. So I normally do like plain rice cakes and peanut butter right before my workout. So that's what I'm going to fill in there. And then when we get off this call, I'm going to stop sharing my screen. When we get off this call, I will finish this meal plan and I'll actually post it into the group so that you can see. But I just wanted you to see how I sit down and do it. I know that, like, when I first started, I got really stressed with trying to do 7 meals in advance. So is there anyone who does that and that doesn't stress them out? Like, do you do a whole week, or do you just do it kind of a couple of days or even a day in advance?
I just do a couple days. I usually cook Sunday, Wednesday, and then Sunday. So
Cool.
I actually just make my dinners and then plan on having what I had for dinner that night for lunch the next day. So I kind of just like carry it over.
Yeah.
Rather than plan like that.
Yeah. That's perfect. I just think that planning is a bigger part of all of this than a lot of people think, because if you don't, there's a saying, like, failing to plan is planning to fail. And I think that's so true, because like I said, if I don't know what I'm having for dinner and I'm hungry, then it's the drive-through. And, I know that about myself, so I have to prevent that. But this is just one really easy way to make sure that you're eating healthy. So does anyone have any other, like, questions or things you wanted to talk about? Like something you maybe struggle with your meal plans, or did this help? Was this help?
I struggle with getting too many blues.
Too many? Oh, I feel you, girl. Because like almonds and avocados. What are your blues? What do you normally eat?
Almonds, and if I have chicken, I'll have a little sprinkle of cheese or a little bit of this, and just they add up. And I don't know about your meal plan, but mine, I think it's only 1 or 2.
I think every meal plan you only get 1.
Yeah, I think it's 1.
One blue. I will say this, and Autumn Calories might like slap me. Depending on what your blues are, okay? Like if your if you're eating avocado, maybe you don't even eat avocado, so I'm not speaking to you. I think it's very
That's me. Talking to me.
Yes, and myself, I freaking love them.
Me too.
Like, I think, in my opinion, okay, if you overeat on avocados, I don't mean 10 avocados a day, Morgan. I mean, like if you have, if you have like 2 blue containers instead of 1, I think that's very different than overeating on cheese.
True.
You know, so I think it just kind of depends. If, like, this is the funniest thing. My husband, he's freaking hysterical. One time I had guacamole on tacos, and he looked at the amount of guacamole that I put on top, and he was like, that looks like a green container, not that blue one. And he doesn't even like really follow it like 100%, but I thought it was hilarious that he knew that, and hey, you're probably right. But I think it's very different than overeating on that. I'm not saying that you can overeat on that every day. That's not what I'm trying to say. But and the same with, you know, almonds, as long as they're not those like salt covered sriracha ones that I'm obsessed with. But just try to be mindful of it, and if there's something that you do often overeat on, maybe planning a little bit better. Like if you're going to have a salad for lunch that you're going to have cheese on, don't plan to have tacos for dinner where you know you're going to want guacamole. You know what I mean? I think that's a good way to do that. The container that I struggle with is my reds, because I love meat. I love chicken, and that's one that I can overeat on. So, Morgan, were you saying something? I'm sorry.
I was saying I gave up cheese for avocado.
Yeah. Me too.
I really did. I said one of these has to go. You can't have both. So I started going with the avocado, and now I don't buy cheese anymore.
And cheese is expensive. So like,
Yeah.
one thing I noticed, like people worry about their grocery bills. Stop buying cheese. It's expensive. Now, that's what I do. But all right, guys. Well, we're gonna hop off here. If anyone doesn't have any questions, do you like this? Like, I think we're gonna do these every Saturday mornings. I think it's really cool.
Yeah.
We'll pick different topics every Saturday and just kind of chat, see what's going on. Okay.
All right.
All right.
good.
Bye, guys. Have a good Saturday.
See ya.
Bye.